Hello students, today we are here with this question as you can see on the screen, right? See, in this question what is given actually here? Uh, Graph of quadratic polynomial, right? Graph of quadratic polynomial is given, okay? And we have to find the sign of A, B and C. Means what? Coefficient of x squared, coefficient of x and the constant. We have to find the sign, whether it is positive or negative, right? So students, clearly you can see that in the figure, right? This curve you can see, this is upward facing parabola. Generally you will get two type of curve. The first is this upward facing parabola, and the second you may get downward facing parabola, right? So when it is upward facing parabola, then you can say that A is positive, right? A is positive. Now A is clear. Now we come to the C. See here, how you will identify whether C is positive or negative. Now you can see here this graph, right? This curve you can see, this graph, this graph what cuts y-axis at this point, right? At this point, and this point is above the origin, right? This point is above the origin, okay? So C will be what? C will be positive. I hope it is clear to you. C is what? Positive. Why? Because this curve you can see cuts y-axis at this point, and this point is there above the origin, right? So C will be positive. Okay. Now the last is B. See here. So as you know students, this is the vertex of parabola. This is the vertex of parabola, and vertex of parabola is what? Minus b by 2a and minus d by 4a. Okay. So now you can see here. So this minus b by 2a, you see here clearly, minus b by 2a will be what? Greater than 0. Why? Because this vertex is what? Right to origin. Okay, this vertex is right to origin. So definitely minus b by 2a will be greater than 0. Okay. Now see here. Here minus b by 2a. So here a is positive. Try to understand here, a is positive and 2 is already positive here. So if it is positive number, then directly you can multiply by 0. Okay, so what we can say that minus b greater than 0. Why? Because here it is positive. If it is positive, then directly you can multiply. Okay, and we are very sure that a is positive and 2 is already positive. Okay, so now see here, minus b greater than 0. But you have to find the sign of b here. But here it is minus b. So what you will do, you will multiply both the side by what? Minus. Okay. So when you multiply, then what will happen? Sign of inequality will get changed. Sign of inequality will get changed. This is the rules of inequality. When you multiply and divide both side by the negative number, then what will happen? Sign of inequality will get changed. Okay, so here b will be negative, right? A will be positive and C will also be positive. So you can match with the options, which is the correct option. See here, A positive, B negative and C positive. So your correct option is B. Okay, right? I hope you are getting this point. A will be positive, B will be negative and C will be positive, right? Now let us come to the next question. So see here, in this question the same question is there, but the thing is that this is downward parabola. This is what? Downward parabola. In the previous question it was upward parabola, upward facing parabola. Here it is downward facing parabola, right? So when it is downward facing parabola, then sign of A will be negative. Try to understand here, sign of A will be negative. Okay, sign of A will be negative. So let us write the negative here. Sign of A will be negative. Sign of A will be what? Negative. So you write here A will be less than 0. Okay. Now you see here this graph, I mean this curve, you can see cuts y-axis at this particular point, and this point is what? Which is above the origin. Origin se upar hai, right? So what will happen here? C will be positive, right? C will be positive. A will be negative. Why? Because it is downward facing parabola. And C will be positive. Why? Because this curve cuts y-axis at this particular point, and this particular point is above the origin. So C will be positive. Okay. Now let us come to the B. Now you see here, B is what? Minus B by 2A. So minus B by 2A, this point, right? So this point is left to origin. Try to understand. This point is here at this particular point, which is left to origin. So our point is minus b by 2a, which is left to origin. Means what? Minus b by 2a less than 0. Okay. So now you see here, a is negative. Try to understand here. A is negative. This a is negative. If it is negative, then this negative and this negative becomes positive, right? So entire expression will be positive. Okay. So now what will happen? B by 2a less than 0, and this will be multiplied, right? This will be multiplied. So what will happen? B will be less than 0. B will be less than 0. What I have done here, sir? Minus b by 2a less than 0, and a is already negative here, right? So this negative and this negative becomes positive. Okay. So what will happen then? This 2a will be multiplied by the 0, then b will be negative, right? I hope you have understood this concept, right? Thank you so much.